All right. So are you ready to like dive deep into some space conspiracies?
Always ready for a good conspiracy theory.
Right. Well, our listeners sent in a ton of research on this, and there's this one study I think we should start with.
Oh, yeah. What's that one about?
It's all about how these conspiracy theories are spreading on Twitter, which is, I mean, no surprise, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a breeding ground for that kind of thing.
For sure. So the study, it looked at like over 100,000 tweets
Wow, that's a lot of tweets.
to like map out the most popular theories that are just floating around out there.
So what were some of the top contenders? What did they find?
Oh man, there's like everything. We've got Agenda 21,
Okay.
chemtrails,
Right.
and of course, like how could we forget Flat Earth,
Like classic.
the classic. Honestly, I can't believe people still believe that one. It's mind-blowing.
Huh?
But I think what's even more interesting is that the researchers actually found that these theories, they weren't just like randomly scattered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were actually clustered together in these like distinct communities.
Interesting. So you're saying there are like little pockets of the internet dedicated to specific conspiracies.
Exactly. And that's where this whole idea of conspiratorial thinking comes in.
Conspiratorial thinking. Fill me in.
Okay, so it's basically like the tendency to believe in multiple conspiracy theories. And a lot of times those theories, they kind of have these like interconnected narratives.
I see. So if you're prone to believing one conspiracy, you're more likely to buy into others as well.
Exactly. It's like if you think, oh, the moon landing was faked,
Right.
then you might also be more likely to think that, oh, there are uh, alien cover-ups
Makes sense.
or like secret government experiments, like a whole web of suspicion. But okay, here's my question. How did they figure all of this out just by looking at like tweets?
That's a good question. So they focused on something called retweet networks.
Retweet networks, okay.
Yeah, so basically every time someone retweets something, it's like a little vote of confidence. They're saying, hey, I agree with this message. Right. So by analyzing like who's retweeting who, the researchers could actually track how these ideas were spreading.
And figure out like who's really driving those conversations.
Exactly. It's like they were able to pinpoint the most influential voices within each of those little communities.
That's so cool. So they're not just looking at what people are saying, but also who they're listening to. But wait, there's more. Get this. They found two distinct groups on Twitter.
Oh.
Those who were like all about the conspiracies, they were pro-conspiracies.
Okay.
And then those who were like, no way, this is all fake news, they were actively trying to debunk them.
And what, these two groups were just duking it out on Twitter?
That's the thing. They were like both super active,
Yeah.
but they were rarely actually interacting with each other directly.
Really? Wow. So you're telling me we have these two parallel universes existing on Twitter, completely ignoring each other?
It's crazy, right? It's a perfect example of what they call those echo chambers, where people just stick to their own little bubbles, reinforcing their own beliefs, and never really engaging with any opposing viewpoints.
That's a shame. I mean, how can you ever have a productive conversation if you're not willing to listen to the other side?
Exactly. And get this, the researchers even found that scientists and medical professionals, they were out there actively trying to like combat the misinformation.
Good for them.
Right. Especially around really important stuff like vaccines.
Yeah.
But they weren't really reaching those conspiracy theory communities.
Because they were stuck in those echo chambers.
Exactly. Which is like kind of scary when you think about it, you know?
It is a bit concerning, yeah. Especially when you consider how these theories, they can have actual real-world consequences.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about public health being affected, scientific literacy, even political discourse is shaped by these things.
It's true. And then there's the whole issue of Twitter themselves stepping in and like suspending accounts that are spreading these theories.
Yeah, that whole debate about censorship.
Right. Who gets to decide what is true and what isn't? It's a tricky situation.
It really is. And it raises a whole bunch of questions about, the role of social media platforms in all of this.
For sure. But before we get too deep into that rabbit hole, I think it's important to understand why these communities even form in the first place.
Yeah, like what is it about space conspiracies, especially, that really draws people in? Why space,
That's a great question, and it's definitely something we'll have to explore more in the next part of our deep dive.
Yes. Stay tuned, folks, because things are about to get really interesting. Okay, so we talked about all these like communities online, but can we get to the actual theories themselves?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? Like the juicy stuff.
Absolutely. And space is like a breeding ground for some really outlandish ideas.
Oh, for sure. I mean, where do we even begin? We've got faked moon landing,
Mm-hmm.
alien cover-ups,
Right.
uh, secret societies controlling space programs. I mean, the list goes on and on. But why do you think these particular theories, like about space, why did they resonate so much with people?
Well, you got to think, it's the ultimate unknown, right? I mean, it's this vast, mysterious frontier, it just sparks our imaginations.
Right, like what's out there, are we alone, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. It makes us wonder.
Totally. And I think when we don't have all the answers, it's kind of easy for our brains to just like fill in the gaps.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Even if it means like making up these elaborate stories.
Oh, absolutely. And those stories might not, have any basis in reality.
But they're fun to think about.
Exactly. Like take the faked moon landing, for instance.
Yeah, the classic.
Right. Even though there's tons of evidence that it actually happened, some people, they just refuse to believe it.
Yeah. They're like, nope, it was all staged. It was all on a Hollywood set.
Yeah. And I think part of the appeal there is it challenges the official narrative. It goes against what we've been told by authorities.
It's like, I don't trust what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something more to it.
Right. It's that distrust of authority that fuels a lot of these theories.
And that can be especially appealing in a world where information is, like, everywhere. But it's also so easy to manipulate.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard to know what to believe sometimes, for sure.
It really is. It's like, 1 minute something's true, and then the next minute it's debunked, and it's just, like, how do you even keep up?
You got to be careful. You got to be critical.
You got to be a critical thinker.
Exactly. You have to really evaluate the information that you're seeing and be willing to consider different perspectives.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, blindly accepting or rejecting these theories. It's about, like, really engaging with them,
Engaging with them thoughtfully.
and asking the right questions.
Yeah, that's key. Speaking of questions, I think it's time we dive into some specific space conspiracies
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
and see if we can maybe unravel the truth behind some of these myths.
Yes, myth-busting time. Okay, where do we even start? There's so many.
Why don't we tackle the big one, the moon landing hoax?
Okay, everyone's at least heard of that one, right? Even if you don't buy into it.
Right. It's a classic. But before we get into that, I think it's worth circling back to how this research study actually identified those influential voices.
Oh, yeah. Those the retweet networks you were talking about earlier.
Exactly. So they basically treated each retweet as a directed link.
Like a link in a chain.
Yeah, exactly. Like in a network. So if person A retweets person B, that creates a link from A to B.
Okay, I see.
So A is essentially amplifying B's message.
So it's like building this map of who's influencing who.
Exactly. And by looking at the structure of those networks, they could pinpoint who was being retweeted the most.
So there was like the big players, the influencers.
Exactly. Those individuals, they played a crucial role in shaping the narrative.
So it's not just about the information itself, it's about like how it's presented and who's presenting it.
100%. And that's something to keep in mind as we kind of go through these specific conspiracies.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. We need to be aware of, who's spreading these ideas and what their motivations might be.
Right. Are they just trying to like stir the pot, or do they actually believe this stuff?
Exactly. But all right, let's get back to the moon landing.
Okay, the moon landing.
Was it real? Was it all just one giant hoax?
I mean, I personally believe it was real,
Yeah.
but let's hear the evidence.
Well, first of all, you got to remember that the moon landing involved thousands of people.
Oh, yeah, tons of people.
Right. Scientists, engineers, astronauts.
Support staff, all those people.
Exactly. Are we really supposed to believe that every single one of them was in on this elaborate hoax?
And that not one of them has ever like spilled the beans.
Right. It doesn't seem very plausible.
It really doesn't.
And then there's all the physical evidence. I mean, we have moon rocks that were brought back.
Right.
Photographs taken on the lunar surface. There are even laser reflectors that were left behind.
Oh, yeah. Those reflectors, I remember reading about those. They're used to measure the distance between Earth and the moon.
Right. And they can do it with incredible accuracy.
That's amazing.
It is pretty amazing. So, I mean, this is just, scratching the surface of all the evidence.
But I'm sure conspiracy theorists, they have like their own explanations for all of this.
Oh, of course they do. They say the moon rocks were fake.
Okay.
The photographs were doctored. The laser reflectors were planted by, unmanned missions.
So it's like this this constant back and forth,
It really is.
like debunking.
And that's why it's so important to think critically, you know?
Yeah, be a space detective.
Exactly. You got to evaluate the evidence that's presented by both sides.
Look at the sources.
Yeah, consider the sources. Think about how plausible the claims are.
And in the case of the moon landing, I mean, it seems pretty clear to me.
Right. The evidence, it just overwhelmingly supports the official narrative.
Right. Okay, so moon landing, probably real.
Probably real. But let's move on to another popular one, alien cover-ups.
Ooh, yes, aliens.
This one plays on our fascination with the unknown.
Right, like, are we alone in the universe?
Exactly. I mean, is there other life out there?
And it's fueled by all those, like, stories about UFO sightings, government secrets, Area 51.
All right. All these stories, they kind of tap into this desire for something more, something extraordinary.
Something that would, like, blow our minds, change everything we thought we knew.
Yeah. Right. The idea that the government is hiding evidence of aliens, it's just so tantalizing.
And, like, they know something we don't.
Exactly. And again, it goes back to that distrust of authority.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not telling us the whole truth.
But as with any conspiracy theory, you got to separate fact from fiction.
Gotta stay grounded.
Exactly. And while there have been, some unexplained aerial phenomena, we don't have concrete proof of alien visits or government cover-ups.
Right. No, like, smoking gun, so to speak.
Not yet, at least. But I think, part of the fun is the mystery, the speculation.
What ifs?
Yeah, what if we're not alone? It's exciting to think about.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about the moon landing hoax, alien cover-ups. What other space conspiracies are lurking out there?
Oh, there's plenty more. What about the idea that secret societies are controlling space programs?
Ooh, okay, yeah. Like they've got all this advanced technology they're keeping from us.
Right. They're using it for their own, like, nefarious purposes.
Yeah, it's like the Illuminati in space. That one's always been a bit out there for me.
I get it. It's definitely one that relies heavily on speculation.
Not a lot of hard evidence.
No, not really.
But it does play on that theme of distrust, like who's really in control here.
Absolutely. It taps into that anxiety that we don't know who's making the decision.
Who's pulling the strings.
Right. But again, speculation versus evidence.
Gotta have the evidence. Okay, so faked moon landing, alien cover-ups, secret societies in space. What else? What else you got?
How about ancient astronauts?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that one.
Right. The idea that aliens visited Earth like a long, long time ago.
And influenced, like, the development of human civilization.
Exactly. They point to all sorts of things like ancient structures.
Right, or artifacts that seem way too advanced for the time period.
Yeah, like how could they have possibly built that?
It must have been aliens. But again, these theories, they don't usually have a lot of solid scientific backing.
Right. A lot of those quote-unquote mysteries, they can actually be explained.
Using, like, what we already know about history and archaeology.
Exactly. For a long time, people wondered how they built those giant stone heads on Easter Island.
Yeah, the Moai.
Right. But now we know they use simple tools and techniques.
Human ingenuity.
Exactly. And that's often the case with those ancient astronaut theories. It's more about a lack of understanding than actual alien intervention.
So it's not always about, like, malicious intent, but more like a desire for an extraordinary explanation.
Yeah, when something seems really mysterious.
It's more fun to think, oh, it must be aliens.
Right. But again, you got to approach these things with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Be skeptical, but be open-minded.
Exactly. Always be willing to learn and consider different perspectives.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground here. We've got faked moon landings, alien cover-ups, secret societies, ancient astronauts.
It's a whole universe of conspiracy theories out there.
It really is. And it's just amazing to me, like, how many different people believe in these things.
It really speaks to our fascination with space and the unknown.
Totally. And the possibility that there's something more out there.
Always something more. But as we've discussed, you got to be critical.
Right. Question everything. Look at the evidence. Don't just blindly trust anyone who claims to have all the answers.
That's so important. All right. So I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive and move on to the final segment.
Yes. The grand finale. What are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about the impact of these space conspiracies on on society, on our world.
Okay, yeah, like how is this actually affecting us?
Exactly, and what we can do about it.
Ooh, solutions. Love it. Okay, everybody stick around because this is going to be good. Okay, so we've been on this like wild ride exploring all these space conspiracies.
Faked moon landings, secret societies running space programs.
It's been a lot.
It has, but even though some of these theories might seem, I don't know, out there,
Out there for sure.
I think it's good to remember that a lot of them, they come from a very human place.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like we want to understand the world.
We do, we do. And when we don't have all the answers,
Our brains just kind of like fill in the gaps.
they do.
Yeah,
They try to make sense of things, even if it means,
making stuff up
yeah, creating these elaborate narratives.
that aren't necessarily true.
Right, exactly. And you throw in space. I mean, space is,
The ultimate mystery.
it is vast, unknown. It captures the imagination.
For sure. But all of this, it's not all fun and games.
No, it's not. I mean, these conspiracies, they can have real-world consequences.
Yeah, when people start believing things that aren't true, it can affect their decisions.
Absolutely. And we've seen how, misinformation about things like vaccines.
Or climate change.
Right. It can lead people to make choices that are harmful, yeah, to themselves or others.
And when it comes to space, I think those consequences could be even bigger, even more significant.
How so?
Well, imagine if like public trust in organizations like NASA just erodes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because so many people believe in these conspiracies.
Claiming it's all fake.
Exactly. It could really hinder like our progress in space exploration and scientific discovery.
Right, because those things, they don't exist in a vacuum, right?
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. If people don't trust science, they're not going to want to fund it.
Oh, okay. So it affects like funding for space programs,
Exactly.
public support.
Yeah, and even international cooperation. If countries don't trust each other,
They're not going to want to work together.
right? So it's a bigger issue than it might seem at first glance.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what do we do about it? Like, how do we deal with this world of misinformation?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I think the first step is recognizing that we all have biases.
Biases?
Yeah, like preconceived notions about things.
Oh, okay.
Right, and it's important to be aware of those biases.
So we can like catch ourselves when they're influencing what we believe,
Exactly. It's about being open to different perspectives, even if they make us uncomfortable.
even if we don't agree.
Right. And then, of course, there's critical thinking.
Always got to be thinking critically.
Right. We got to be able to evaluate information.
Figure out what's true, what's not.
Yeah, what's credible.
What's just opinion.
Right, and that's where media literacy comes in.
Okay, media literacy. Break that down for me.
So it's basically the ability to navigate this world of information, to figure out what sources you can trust.
So, like, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Exactly. It's about being discerning.
Okay, be discerning. Got it.
Right. And always questioning, always asking, where is this information coming from?
Who's saying it?
Exactly. It's like, we got to be space detectives out here.
Space detectives. I love it.
Right. We got to look at the evidence. We got to sift through the clues.
Separate the truth from the space lies.
Right, exactly. And sometimes those investigations, they might take us down unexpected paths.
That's part of fun, though, right?
It is. And it's all driven by curiosity, that desire to learn and explore.
Curiosity. That's what it's all about.
It is. It's what drives scientific discovery. It's what pushes us to understand the world around us.
And even though we've, debunked some of these space conspiracies,
Right.
I think there's still value in exploring them.
Oh, absolutely. It gets us thinking. It challenges our assumptions.
And sometimes it can even lead to new questions, new discoveries.
Exactly. So to our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Keep that curiosity alive.
and keep looking up at the stars with a sense of wonder.
Beautifully said. I think that's the perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of space conspiracies.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned something new. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start looking at the universe with a slightly more critical eye.